My name is Father Thomas Steinke, and I'm currently serving at St. Anthony of Padua Parish in New Bedford, Massachusetts. Today is Saturday of the first week of Advent and the feast day of St. Juan Diego. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to Matthew. Jesus went around to all the towns and villages, teaching in their synagogues, proclaiming the gospel of the kingdom and curing every disease and illness. At the sight of the crowds, his heart was moved with pity for them because they were troubled and abandoned like sheep without a shepherd. Then he said to his disciples, "The harvest is abundant, but the laborers are few. So ask the master of the harvest to send out laborers for his harvest." Then he summoned his 12 disciples and gave them authority over unclean spirits to drive them out and to cure every disease and illness. Jesus sent out these 12 after instructing them thus: "Go to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. As you go, make this proclamation: the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Cure the sick, raise the dead, cleanse lepers, drive out demons. Without cost you have received, without cost you are to give." The Gospel of the Lord. So in today's Gospel, Jesus says the harvest is abundant, but the laborers are few. So ask the master of the harvest to send out laborers for his harvest. So we're in the midst of a worldwide Marxist revolution. Within the church, the members of the anti-church are called the deep church. Outside the church, the members of the anti-gospel are called the deep state. There are powerful people in the government, the church, the media, and corporate America who are laboring to destroy morality, our Constitution, and the Catholic Church. In the past couple years, there have been well over 100 statues that have been toppled, defaced, or removed, many of them Catholic saints, and several churches have also been desecrated. We should encourage vocations, but we don't just want to encourage anyone to become a priest, because we see the damage a priest can do that leads people away from God. It's frustrating for us when we hear people were led astray by bad advice. In his encyclical on the Catholic priesthood, Pius XI says that a true priestly vocation is established by, quotes, "a right intention in the aspirant, together with a combination of physical, intellectual, and moral qualities, which make him fitted for such a state." So what's the right intention? Well, Pope Pius XI says that he must look to the priesthood solely from the noble motive of consecrating himself to the service of God and the salvation of souls. So Padre Pio used to say the best way of spending one's time is to spend it furthering the salvation and sanctification of others, and that should be the attitude of every priest. Any other intention, and he should be automatically disqualified. Moreover, as Father John Hardin notes, Christ died on the cross for our salvation, and having died, he gained the graces we need. But we must have access to those graces. The principal treasury of these graces is the sacrifice sacrament of the Eucharist. So Pius XII concurs, calling the sacraments the 7 principal founts of salvation. So sometimes someone will come to me and say that they think they have a vocation and they're going to Mass once a week when they could go more often. And I never recommend that these people enter religious life for the priesthood. They should be going to Mass as often as their duties of state allow. A priest is supposed to lead people to have a devotion to the Eucharist and Our Lady, and that's not possible if he himself doesn't have that devotion. Nobody can wholeheartedly recommend anything that they don't practice themselves. The second quality is that they must be morally qualified, and in this respect, one always has to be concerned about young men struggling with the addiction to pornography. No one should try to enter the priesthood or religious life until he's not habitually fallen into grave sin. We all know how the priestly sexual abuse cases have damaged and scandalized so many people. Many of these abusers should have been weeded out during the seminary formation years. So you should be chased for a year or two before you're ordained. The final quality I'll talk about is he must be intellectually capable of completing and absorbing the information he learns in the seminary. So as part of God's providence, a Catholic priest is the best educated person in the world, if by education you mean understanding reality. His formation includes a deep understanding of human nature and also of God and things of God. Take confessions alone. It's extremely dangerous to hear confessions. A priest will have to render an account to God for every confession he's heard. Without the proper disposition, the priest puts both his soul and the souls of his penitents in grave danger. Indeed, it would be better if such priests did not hear confessions at all. St. Alphonsus Liguori says that I assure you that the confessor who dares to hear confessions without sufficient knowledge is in a state of damnation. So this is one area that really bothers me as a priest, and I see it too often. People are told that they should not go to confession more than once a year, or that contraception's okay, or in some other way are damaged because of bad advice from priests. So if we're overrun by a communist regime, for sure they will attack faithful priests. The track record of communist regimes is 100% in this respect. Satan will always try to eliminate the sacraments. The Catholic Church is sacramental theology. The best divinely ordained means to get to heaven is to frequent the sacraments. So look how rapidly the evil agenda in the world advanced when the churches were shut down during the pandemic and Catholics couldn't frequent the sacraments. Think about how rapidly you died in the past when you didn't frequent the sacraments. So like Jesus says in the gospel, pray for good holy priests who want to dedicate their lives for the salvation of souls. Encourage young men who seem qualified. There are many powerful people in the world inside and outside the church who want to eliminate faithful priests. Without good priests, it's difficult to receive the sacraments. If it's difficult to receive the sacraments, it'll be difficult to get to heaven.
Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoyed hearing the gospel and homily, I invite you to share it with someone you know who may also find it rewarding, and also to subscribe to the Catholic Voice channel. Please see in the description below if you would like to receive a text message for each daily gospel and homily. Please also keep our missionary priests throughout the world in your prayers. Thank you, and God bless.